Yes, thank you. My name is Schnorr-Backer. I'm from Official Statistics, Germany. Seems doesn't work. Yes, now it works. Yes, I want to tell you something about the tasks of official statistics, then what we find when we started with the Inspire process, and I want to give you some examples, and finally I would like to draw some conclusions. Here, the Federal Statistical Office is one member of our system of official statistics. We have 16 länder. Germany is federally organized, and we have 14 statistical offices because 2 of them cooperate. Our main sources of official statistics are primary ones, particularly sample services. That means these surveys are designed by our office together with the main stakeholders and perhaps data producers. We have also censuses, not so often, but in the last 2 years we had 2 censuses, the census for population last year and the census for agriculture the year before in 2010. All or the most of these surveys are on behalf of the EU, of the European Union, so the data are available for all EU member states. Then we use more and more secondary statistics. They come from, that means the data came from other public bodies, such as the Federal Employment Agency or fiscal authorities or the central bank. And then I think what could be matter for Inspire as well are our registers. We have comprehensive registers for most of our statistics, for hospitals here, for schools, enterprises, which cover mostly the total, not always, but mostly. What we release here, a slide of our products. On the bottom you have the basic statistics, the statistics on population, on economy, environment, and so on. Then we have macroaccounting, such as the national accounts. It's in line with the European Union. It's always in line with the United Nations. Then we provide indicators, single indicators. GDP, gross domestic product, is one of the most prominent perhaps, and perhaps some of you know about the initiatives beyond GDP and these things. Then we have indicator systems. They are more and more relevant for politicians and for politics. At the national level, we have a lot of indicator systems, to name here only 2. There are the sustainable development in Germany. It is close to the European initiative now, Europe 2020, and with 4 pillars. It is not only about environment, it's more or less about society in our days and the future ones. Then we have another one about integration, and what becomes more and more important, these are indicator systems at international and supranational level. First of all, we have heard about Europe 2020. It's a successor of the Lisbon strategy, which started in the year 2000, and then we have measuring progress. It's another, I think, very important initiative. It holds for the OECD. The OECD released last year a report about how is life, you see, beyond GDP and well-being, and all things together are more and more important in our days. Now here's some regional products of our statistical office. I told you official statistics in Germany is organized federally. That means And there is a clear labor division between the Länder offices and our office. The Länder offices mostly have to collect the data. Our office aggregates the data for Germany on the whole, and we send them to other international supranational bodies and to the EU. And our office develops the methods which are applied for different purposes. Here we have a database with about 70 statistics. The range of our products covers about 400 different surveys, products, as you will name it. And we have here a database with about 70 statistics for smaller regional units. I will come back to that later. Then we have an interactive map. It's below on the right. It has components which use here for Inspire, viewing, searching, and so on. And the metadata are provided in this publication registered. When the German law had passed the parliament for the Inspire directive, we started in our office the work and more intensively on behalf of Inspire. And here you have an overview of the different themes of Annex I. I would refer to that because they could be of interest, but in a more indirect manner. Geographical grids could be useful. I think there are some statistical offices of other EU member states who provide statistical data for grid systems. We in Germany are not allowed to use grid systems without only one exemption up till now. And administrative units are for us very important. Here are the Inspire themes of Annex III. In red are those written which could matter for official statistics. First of all, there are statistical units and population distribution, and I was a member of this thematic working group here at the JRC level. There are several others, but I only want to go further into these both. We set up a high-level group in our office. It was chaired by the head of our office, together with representatives from the statistical Länder offices, and we took part in the open consultation process last year from June to October, and we checked nearly all of the data specifications of the drafts, and here some qualitative impressions what could matter to official statistics. I told you, yes, population distribution is very important, I think, and statistical units. And the other ones, it depends how the data specifications finally will look like. Now here, the statistical units we use in official statistics. Mostly we use administrative ones, but points, lines, and non-administrative are also available. And grid we use only for the agricultural census because we are allowed by law to use geocoordinates for farms. Here you see the European regional classification. It's laid down in the NUTS regulation. And there are three different levels from the nation itself to, in Germany, Kreise, NUTS 3. And for NUTS 3 we release most of our data. NUTS 2 is of importance for the European Union, for cohesion policy and for regional policy, but in Germany it doesn't matter, but we can aggregate the data from NUTS 3 onwards up to NUTS 1. Here some impressions are about, or some figures. We have about 11,600 municipalities, and 14 of them have more than 500,000 inhabitants. That means in these bigger cities live about 16% of the German population. There is another EU initiative about urban areas or bigger cities, and they should cover all cities with more than 50,000 inhabitants, so I listed them here. It's about 187 cities on the whole for Germany. Here I told you we don't use grids, but for official statistics, not always the grids mentioned in Annex I are true. Here, this is the perception, how it is, or how we have to deliver our data to Eurostat. It's about 5 arc minutes. It's a kilometer grid of, I don't know, 3.5 kilometers or so. And what we had to do, we had to check whether these grid cells have one or more items, because we are obliged to keep everything confidential, with or every farm which could be re-identified. And you see here the red points, and these are items which have cells which have to be kept confidential, and it is undertaken by adding this cell to another one by random. Now, here are some impressions how geographers might see the world. It is a topographical card, topographical map. It's released by our General Federal Mapping Agency. In the middle, the arrow points to Wiesbaden, where our office is located. Here, some much more detailed. These are the 2 towns in Germany, Wiesbaden and Mainz. Both are capitals of Länder, and the border is the River Rhine in the middle. And now here a picture from Google. You see, it's about the surroundings of our world. We do not use Google for collecting data, but perhaps it might show how we see the real world. You see our federal office circled in yellow, and then you see some hospitals, schools, railway stations, and so on, and often they are named. I told you official statistics mostly could be useful, valuable for Inspire, for population. The data we have are about individuals. We collect data on age groups, for education, how they took part in workforce, how many people are unemployed, and so on. And we have data for households. Mostly they are covered by a sample survey. The structure, the income, equipment with ICT, and other durable goods such as cars and so on. Here now some examples. Results which we provide for urban audit. It's a data collection for cities. This data collection is carried out every year, and we do some calculations. The whole data, the range of data, is delivered for Germany by another institution, but we are the coordinator. Our office is the coordinator of that. On the left, you see the single-person households. You see that they are mostly located in towns. Then in the middle, there is the net income. These are variables of this urban audit, and the darker the spots, the higher the income. So in the southern part of Germany, there are the regions with higher income. And on the right side, you have the rent per square meter and per month, and it's very high, the dark brown spots in the towns, in Munich, Stuttgart, Cologne, perhaps Hamburg. Now, here tourism in Germany, if anyone wants to go to Germany, one indicator might be employment in retail, hotel on the right side, on the left side in red. Yeah. And the other ones, these are screenshots of our interactive map, which is free accessible on the internet. On the right side, you have intensity of tourism, overnight stays per inhabitant, and there are some spots here in yellow, mostly at the coast or in mountainous areas, which are of interest for tourism. Now, agriculture, another thing which could matter. There on the left is the cattle density. It's on the cattle density per hectare farmland. It's close to the western border of Germany and the southern border. And on the right you have the farm size. Farm size is big farms you will find in the former eastern part of Germany because of, I think, historical developments. Now here, care homes. We have heard about hospitals and health and safety. On the left, in orange, there's a density of hospital beds. And on the right, you have places available in care homes. And you see, mostly they are available in towns of Germany. Now, coming to an end, what did we find? I think official statistics could be a source for the living and working conditions for Inspire. And perhaps it could provide value added to that. I want to stress on the high quality of our data because for all our statistics we have laws, and mostly on legal basis, and the respondents are obliged to answer by law, and so we have very high respondent rates, and quality is very crucial for official statistics, because a lot of political decisions are based on that. So we try to improve our data always, and everything is very well documented. You can find everything on the internet. E-government, open data is no problem for us. Everything is released free. I told you we have some data for regional, at regional level that could be enlarged. For sample services it might be difficult because of the sample size and the variables covered by this survey. The breakdown then is not further possible. There are some limitations, but you must check and must see for which regional level you need this data. Yeah, for further work, I think more regionalization is possible, even perhaps at the level on the European Union, so that you can get more insight in the developments, but it's quite clear that resources are necessary for that, and then we have to set priorities. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Susanne, for these interesting presentations. Are there any questions? Yeah, here we have one. Can we get a microphone, please?
Yes, so you showed us very interesting interactive maps on your internet site. And you told us also that you have several line statistics for transport, if I understood. Are there also interactive maps for these statistics?
Yes, you have some interactive maps in this, on the internet.
Also for information that is collected for lines, you showed us that for transport you have also information along lines.
No, not in this tool, because we have only administrative units. But we have other data releases which we refer to lines because for the transportation or the transports.
Okay, maybe more questions? No?